Hey there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. And if you're new to the channel, I'm really glad you landed here. I hope you like what you hear and see. And if so, hit that like and subscribe button, please. Hit the notifications if you want to, right? Make sure you don't miss anything. I do mostly political readings. I'm going to be shifting that I think, a little bit in 2025, finding a way to blend more spiritual with the political. But that said, I do new moon and full moon pick a card readings. Those are real popular as well. If you're a regular subscriber or a member, I thank you so very much for being here. You already know the deal. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, you all. This is Thursday the 19th. I hadn't really planned to. Typically I tape on Fridays, and I may still come back tomorrow. But today, woke up to all this news around it looks like some things have taken a turn, and we might in fact be facing a government shutdown. Mike Moses Johnson, you remember when he was first, going through his things to get confirmed, he said God had given him a vision, and he was like, Moses, all right, you better be figuring out how to part some waters right about now, Mike Johnson, because it's not looking good. You're looking like a sacrificial lamb here. So apparently, if you haven't already heard, and I'm sure many of you have, so Elon Muskrat hit the waves yesterday, the social media waves yesterday, and said, don't y'all dare pass this bill to keep the government open. Too much spending. You're giving the Dems too much. La, 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 right? Went ballistic. Everything spread like wildfire. And according to some of these MAGA Republicans in Congress, their phones started ringing off the hook, and people were like, you can't do this, da 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 da. But also, Muskrat was putting out blazing like on a bullhorn, if you do this, then watch yourself in the primaries, because just like he bought, oh boy, this far, sent the money out there and did what he did. We're all watching it unfold in live, live and in effect. He said, okay, if this is what you do, watch what I'm going to do for your primaries. And that just sent everybody scrambling, right? Now, I want to take a look and see. It's really interesting because I don't know about you, but I was always brought up to believe what somebody does to somebody else, they'll do to you. So we know Mike Johnson has done everything but twist himself into a pretzel to remain on 45's good side. He's kissed the ring from the front, from behind. That sounds a little crazy, but okay, let's keep it moving. Entertainment purposes only. But we've watched him. He's done any and everything to try and maintain power. He's in big trouble, you all. I want to ask, we're going to go to Spirit now. I want to keep this taping short. I'm going to go to Spirit. And first of all, is a government shutdown looking likely? If it is, that is curtains. That's the end for Mike Johnson. It has to be, but we'll go to Spirit on that. And finally, I want to take a really quick peek at this bromance between Muskrat and 45. There's been social media. They're trying to trigger oh boy 45. They're trying to trigger him, and left, right, and center, all sorts of people on the political spectrum have been coming out and saying, oh, so what we got is President-elect Musk and Vice President Trump, right? People just been going in. That's not landing well. That's not going to feel good. But at the end of the day, who's funding all? Who's funding all of this, right? Who really does have the power? Whose voice is really going to be heard the loudest? And what I found very interesting was the fact that if by virtue of these posts that Muskrat was putting out, because 45 didn't come in until the back end of it and say basically, yeah, what he said, meaning Muskrat, what he said, listen to what he said. He didn't step out in front of it. JD Vance didn't get out in front of it. It wasn't coming from them. So I want to take a look at that bromance and see how that's going to evolve in the near future. So let's go. Enough of me pontificating. Let's get to it. All right, first I'm looking at the government shutdown. Bottom of the deck, Temperance. Woo! All right. There's still some last minute, this feels like there's still some last minute trying, like, what can we do? What can we do? Is there any other adjustments that can be made to the bill to make it more, more palatable, nicer for in their opinion, in order to get it passed. So there's still some scrambling that's going on to try and keep the government open. Two of Cups. There is this spirit of working together, and I don't know how much a bipartisan. Hakeem Spears reminded me. Hakeem Jeffries already came out and said, "All right, y'all, this is on you. If it goes south, watch. All right, because 2026 is coming, and that's if things don't change before then. Right? Some divine intervention. Hoping. All right. Government shutdown spirit. Government shutdown. 10 of Wands. I think they may cave. They're feeling like, the MAGA Republicans are feeling like it's just entirely too much pressure. And that thing about spirit, is this related to that threat around the primaries? They really are just trying to stay in power no matter what it costs the country. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Because they see the time is ticking, right? Wheel of Fortune is cycles. Tick, 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 tick. They see time is ticking. They're already making decisions right now based on what they see the potential happening in 2026. So you all, anything could change, because I do see that Temperance card. So there is a push. There will continue to be conversations and a push among whatever reasonable factions we still have in Congress to try and keep things open. And pass the bill, but do not be surprised. That 10 of Wands, there is this feeling of basically being punked. They've got the MAGA Republicans coming at them left, right, and center and saying, this is, you do what we tell you to do, period. So don't be surprised. I'm going to just pull one or two more. Justice. Wow. And it came reversed. I don't always read reversals, but I almost feel like this is a delay in what should really happen. So that also feels like, is this referring to a shutdown being short? Like if it does happen, that it would be short term, like a delay in justice, a delay in it going through. 9 of Cups, what the people wish, what they wish to happen. Yes. So if in fact there is a shutdown, it looks like it's going to be, because this is such a positive card with that Justice, delayed, reversed. I think it's not going to go into something that drags out on and on. This is pure political theater, unfortunately, on the backs of real workers and real people who could be impacted and will be impacted, not just the services, but also those who perform the jobs. So keep an eye on that. Now, Mike Johnson, sweating bullets. And, the thing is, I don't know that he's having, what I'm getting from my guidance is, I don't know that he's really having a Paul on the road to Damascus moment for my Christians out there. But so in other words, he's having a wake-up call that, oh, wow, as much as I've aligned myself and done every single thing that's been asked of me, they don't mind putting me in a position to lose my job like that, right? I'm really, at the end of the day, I'm nothing to them. I mean nothing to them. They don't care anything about my political future and the efforts that I've put in to show that I'm a part of the team, right? So I want to take a look at Spirit. What is the mindset of Mike Johnson during this time? What just flipped? Oh no, too many flipped at once. Okay. Mike Johnson during this time, what is the mindset? Does Mike Johnson feel betrayed by 45 and Musk and all of, JD and all of them? Does he feel betrayed? Does he feel betrayed by his fellow MAGA Republicans in Congress, in the House? Mike Johnson. The Emperor, 45, sitting there on his little throne. Yeah. And Temperance, trying to stay in his good graces, but this has rattled him, you all. This feels like he's looking at, it's almost like a et tu brute kind of moment. Like he's looking at him like, wow, I have done absolutely everything, and you would pull the rug out from under me, knowing, and there's the moon, he is worried all kind of ways. He's worried every way come Sunday about keeping his job. And I think he's out. Spirit, is Mike Johnson on the way out as Speaker of the House? Is Mike Johnson on the way out? Is Mike Johnson on the way out? Death. Yeah. Death. I don't know where this is coming from, but in a weird way, I'm going to read on it. I just got an impression almost like a sigh, like, I don't have to do it anymore, like, on the one hand, it is extremely disappointing. He really believed in his connection. He didn't realize that how much of a puppet he really was. He thought he was flying high. Johnson thought he was flying high in his relationship with 45. That truly there was an understanding and teamwork. And now with Muskrat being on board, with JD, we'll always keep an eye on him, because as much as we don't hear about him, in a way that's more concerning than if we did. But Spirit is telling me on some level, if this death holds up, and that in fact is the case, and he is no longer Speaker, it almost feels like he will he be extremely ashamed, of course, embarrassed, blah, 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 ego wounded, all of that. But there's something that almost feels a little relieved with him. Am I feeling that right, Spirit? Is that what you're telling me about him? Yeah, the Three of Swords, grieving, ready to just go lick his wounds. He did not, as much as he went into his speakership, Mike Johnson, thinking that, it's the will of God and all of this, we've all heard it. He did not anticipate a lot of what is unfolding and what has already come to pass. He did not. On some level, he signed on to it, but he didn't understand the personal price that he was going to have to pay. And there's the Nine of Wands, just overwhelmed, just feeling like they're multiplying. Those who do not see or do things in the way that I do, they are multiplying. And I'm also getting that they recognize. Notice that's an image of McCain. True ego, true. He sees himself more. If things had gone differently for Mike Moses Johnson, I think he would have been more aligned with a McCain type Republican than a MAGA Republican, the MAGA Republican that he's turned into, y'all. So he is going to have a Paul on the road to Damascus moment down the road when he actually loses his position. All right. But you reap what you sow. He made some choices and he stuck by those choices, and so here we are. All right, and finally, you all, I want to take a look at the relationship between Muskrat and 45. The bromance, is the bromance going to hold? Like, how's it going between them? Because we know the chief narcissist does not like when somebody else upstages him and takes away the spotlight. At the same time, what Muskrat is bringing, not just in terms of his money, but also I'm hearing his foreign connections to Putin et al., right? He's got to be, 45 and realizes he's got to be really careful, because Muskrat already has audience, not only now with the Republican base who are listening to him, and then 45 can just come on the back end of it and go, yeah, exactly, listen to my boy. But there's the idea that Muskrat in his own capacity is 45 recognizes that people are listening to him domestically and internationally. All right, we have the Hangman and the Hermit. They just came together, and the Ace of Cups. I got to keep all of those together. Hangman and the Hermit. It's like they're in too deep. They're in too deep with each other. For all of his money and wealth and influence, Muskrat needs the pulpit of 45 to continue to make his moves that he wants to make right now. So it's like both of them are extremely essential to one another. But that Hermit also feels like an energy of, at some point, they are thinking, they both realize how long is this bromance gonna last? Because the Hermit will go off on its own. That's an energy that will go on its own. It's a singular energy. It's a strong, I have to go my way to follow my quest. And the Hangman is, how do I do that? That pausing to reflect, to think about, but how am I going to do that? And I did keep the Ace of Cups as well, because right now there's this feeling of optimism and flow between them. We are one. Ace of Cups, we are one. We are flowing together. We speak the same language. We have the same ideals. This romance between them. Ace of Pentacles, 2 aces. Interesting. And the Hierophant. Government. Ace of Pentacles, government. Because 45 in decline, we've seen so many instances of that, almost feels like he's okay with the title, he's okay with the influence and all of that, because the hard work of actual speaking to issues, formulating ideas, expressing those ideas in a cogent manner, all of that stuff, he really doesn't want it. And we know that this was all about getting rid of the cases against him and staying out of jail. So he wants the figurehead of it. He wants the popularity of it. He wants the juice of it, the power, the office. Let's hope. Let's just keep hoping that it doesn't go that way. But he wants the juice, while the other one, he can't have the juice. He's not a citizen. So that's not even an interest or a goal of his, Muskrat. It's more about how do I literally exert influence over the structure of a country like the United States of America. That's how he's getting off. Pardon my, directness. And the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's all about the money. And it's all about using the money as leverage, continuing to use the money as leverage. And in that regard, too, 45 doesn't have it. The Lovers. All right. Yeah. Now, they're going to play nice with each other for the time, at least for the foreseeable future. They're going to continue to play nice, because it is, talk about codependent. Woo! This is codependent at a whole 9th degree of power. All right, you all? All right. Thanks for joining me. I really, really appreciate you. Please do remember to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps, drop a comment. Please, even if you disagree with me, I get that. I'm accustomed to it, and I just say, please, let's all be respectful towards one another, especially now, when things are so tense. And we need, even as we have discourse, discussion, sometimes we agree, sometimes we may not, but at the end of the day, we're all wanting the very same thing, which is to live in a country that we feel safe. We feel like we can prosper. We feel like, our families can grow and be well and all of that. We all have the same objectives, right? All right, enough of that. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.